was a bit arse about face, but I've just finished my podcast now, but I thought I'd just come back on and show you this moon. It's not a full one, but I'm in the harbour in Kosovo. And it's such a peaceful place. And this is what these YouTubers are taking the piss out of. Yeah, don't be coming here and fucking about. Hello everybody, just passing through podcast again, cycling home. Another one of these Thursday podcasts because I was super busy this weekend, so I'm sorry for them that were expecting it early doors. That's not happening. Wow, it is busy round here today. A lot of people wanting them photographs. Right, so it is 26th of October, we're 2 months off Christmas. It's cooling down, but it's not cold, which is a blessing, I suppose, especially when England's getting battered with rain and it's about 2 or 3 degrees. I'm quite happy where I am, thank you very much for asking. Right, now I want to talk today about people coming here and fucking about. When people come here on holidays and they take the piss a bit, and it's happened again. So I'll start it here. We're back in 2017. Logan Paul come here, thought it'd be fun to take the piss a bit in Japan. He dressed up like a few of the things he started to do where he dressed up like Pokemon, and he went round throwing silly little Dragon Balls at shop workers. And he also left a piece of fish on the back of a taxi. Now, because he's got such a following, these fucking sheep thought that were hilarious. And then he went into the suicide woods. Now, for them that don't know that, around Mount Fuji are these very thick, dense forests that you can wander into and get lost quite easy. And wander into and nobody will find you again. It is quite the hot spot for committing suicide, because you can go in there, do your business, and basically nobody's going to find you. Now he went in there, or he come over here specifically to go into that forest. So he spent a few days arsing about in Tokyo, making a fucking fool of himself. And then he headed up to Mount Fuji to see if he could find anybody that had committed suicide. That's entertainment. Or he thought it was back in 2017. Anyway, he found one. There was a fella hanging from a tree. And he's got his phone or his camera. And he puts this poor fella into focus. And he says, "We found one." Did that with his face. "Ooh, we found one." No respect. None whatsoever. Anyway, he puts it up online, obviously gets millions of hits, millions of views before it got taken down. And then, when he got cancelled, he comes out with the apologies. Now, what sort of a fucking prick in the first place would put that up online? If you find a fella hanging from a tree, obviously he's got enough money to have a translator with him, you would just go, "I think we should get the police up here, get him down and get him off." Not this prick. He put it up for everybody to see. And then he went on the apology tour when he lost all his means of income, which is a bit of a copy and paste with these YouTubers and TikTokers that are doing this. Now, here in Japan, for them that haven't been, it is the most polite, the safest, most respectful society you could ever wish to spend any sort of time in. People will go the extra yard for each other. Now, if you're a foreigner, they'll go even further to make sure that your stay in Japan has been a memorable one. If you speak to anybody that were over here in 2019 for World Cup, for Rugby World Cup, I can guarantee not one of them will have had a bad experience. They all went back, smiles across their faces. I've got a couple of Irish friends that came over here for the Japanese World Cup. They've just spent time in France following Ireland for the French World Cup, and every time I spoke to them or spoke to her, she were always talking about the Japanese World Cup 4 years ago, and she's at the most recent World Cup as we speak. That's what sort of impression Japan leaves on everybody. Now, there is a YouTuber, Finibas, his name is. He's a Cypriot fella, fucking green hair. That should be setting the alarm bells ringing straight away. Now, he's come over, I think he come over a couple of months, well, maybe a month or a couple of weeks ago, and he's made this video. Now, he's got a following on YouTube, and the video he's made has already got 500,000 views. Now, what he's done is he's come over with 2 other people, and they've made a $10,000 bet, so it's £8,000, to basically who can take the piss the most. That's what you boil it down to. Who can take the piss the most? Just going to stop here for this zebra crossing. Let these people across. So, like I say, he's come over here with 2 of his YouTube cronies to see what he can get away with. Now, there were 3 things that he's done. The 3 main things that he's done. So, we'll go in order of what he did. Now, here in Japan, you've got a thing called the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train. These are the fastest trains in the world. They take you from A to B in perfect comfort, safety, and they are always efficient. Unless somebody gets onto the line and kills themselves, you know, they will get you there to the second. To prevent people from throwing themselves in front of these bullet trains, it's so difficult to scale any part of the track anywhere across Japan, because these are a kind of like a landmark for Japan. So what he's done is tried to get from A to B for free. So he's jumped on the Shinkansen, no ticket, and off he goes. The conductor comes round, he locks himself in the toilet. Who does that? Apart from school kids, young school kids. When the conductor asks for his ticket, he's feigning that he's sick, and then the doors open and he's out, running away like a little common thief. Jumps on another train, jumps the barrier when he gets to his destination. You cannot be doing that in Japan. It's a trust culture here. They know in Japan, people don't want crime, so they don't commit it. People don't want to see graffiti, so they don't do it. People don't want to steal from you. You don't want to be stolen from, so you don't do it. But there's starting to be a lot of these foreigners coming over here and doing this. Now, Japanese people are already a bit wary about us foreigners. And this is just making it worse. Especially now the birth rate's dropping, they need to be getting more foreigners in. So when they're seeing stuff like this on YouTube and it's getting celebrated, it puts us that live here kind of like on back foot with them as a society. Anyway, second thing he does, he gets on a bus. He ain't got enough money, so he's going around begging. He's going around begging for money. Now he gets on the bus, pays to go to his destination, he stays on too long. So the bus driver locks him in the bus until the police arrive. Now this bus driver, the bus drivers, the train drivers are all told it's getting there on time that is the most important thing. Obviously safety, but getting there on time and being efficient is the most important thing. There was a news story at the end of last year. A train left 30 seconds early from the platform. Front page news. It were on the TV about this train that had left early. It is a thing. It is a thing. It's up there. It's probably as important as religion to be efficient here. It really is. So he has caused that bus to be late. He's caused the bus to be late. So that fella who is the bus driver, he's going to get a bollocking. And this YouTuber, this Cypriot fella with his green fucking hair, gets carted off to the police station. I mean, for the sake of 80 yen, $1, 60 pence, he's in the police station for 5 hours before he's released. Again, you're there, you're taking up 5 hours of police time for 60 pence. You're fucking kidding me. But he's doing it for the YouTube and nothing else. He's doing it for the YouTube. Now, I've told this story many times before about the lengths that they'll go to stop train delays and to stop people killing themselves in front of trains. Now, in Japan, if you decide to check out and kill yourself and you throw yourself in front of a train, obviously they're going to need a clean-up crew to scrape you up, bag you up and get you off to morgue. The train is going to be delayed. If you've timed your jump wrong, you've probably hit the windscreen first and then gone under wheels. So there's a windscreen that needs repairing. And then there's the passengers that are delayed. The family of the person that's killed themselves will have a nice, crisp envelope dropped through their letterbox with a bill which usually, on average, is about 3 million yen. £21,000, $30,000, I would say. Which has got to be paid because somebody in your family has decided to kill themselves using public transport. It's heartless, but it did stop it somewhat. It did stop it. Now, it does get a bit, there are grey areas where it gets a bit too heartless. There were a fella in his 60s or 70s. It wasn't around Tokyo, it was somewhere down south. His wife had got dementia. He's got the house belled up, so if she decides to wander out, a bell goes off like in a convenience store or in a shop. So he knows the door's been opened and she's off for a wander. So he gets up and he goes and gets her. Now, obviously, looking after a woman with dementia is very tiring. Fucking hell, my dad wrote the book on that one. So this Japanese husband is having a nap in the afternoon and off she goes wondering. He were bang out because he's been up with his wife all night. He's just 24/7 with her, so he doesn't hear the bell because he's bang out. Anyway, off she goes for a wonder. She ends up on these train tracks, and the train does the rest, mows her down, kills her. Bit of a blessing in disguise, really. But because she's wandered on to that train track, it doesn't matter what mental state she's in, the train company of that area was demanding money, compensation for the delay and the clean-up. Heartless. The fella said, look, she's got dementia, she didn't know what she was doing. I was so tired that I was asleep, I didn't wake up. They wanted the money. Give me the money, give me the money, give me the money. Instead of the rail company going, oh, okay, we're sorry for your loss and stuff like that, we'll let this one go. It went to court, and as soon as it went to court and got put in front of the judge saw fucking sense and said to the rail company, what are you fucking playing at? And the rail company's defence was, well, if we let this one go once, what about all these family members with dementia? Are they going to be ushered towards railway tracks to get mowed down because the family's sick and tired of looking after this family member? That's what the defence was. Yeah. So, yeah, you can't be delaying stuff here. You can't be delaying stuff. Now, the third thing he did, in Tokyo, you'll appreciate that they've got all these high-class hotels. It's a world city. These 5-star hotels with fancy restaurants, obviously breakfasts and stuff like that. So he moses on in to this 5-star hotel at breakfast time, sits himself down, says some random number of a room number in the hotel. The woman takes his room number and he sits down and has a breakfast. So this fella is sat down having his breakfast, real high-class hotel breakfast. You'd be costing you something like, I don't know, $80, 70 quid, something like that for this breakfast. Sits down and all the way through is eating this breakfast. It's just a piss take. It's just a piss take. And then he stands up, brushes himself off and leaves. Just leaves. So he's stolen train fares, he's got locked up because he didn't have his bus fare, and he's just stolen from a hotel, having just eaten for free. Now, the Japanese authorities don't know whether he's still in the country. I'm sure if he comes back, he'll be straight in the big house. But I think with cowards like this, they post that stuff once they've left. I think that's how it goes with these, going for the clicks. Now, the Tokyo Olympics came here. We didn't have the influx of foreigners because it was COVID time. And I think there were probably a sigh of relief from most of the Japanese community that all these foreigners weren't descending when they see stuff like this. I can't think of a major tournament, a major world tournament that's coming here in the next few years. I think the Saudis and the Middle East have sewn all that up for the next 10 or 12 years. So I'm not sure what will be coming here next. But after seeing videos like this, they're not going to put up with it anymore. You know, I would compare it to stealing from your grandparents, taking the piss out your grandma. You come here, you're welcomed, and then you're robbed from them. It's not on. It's not on. Now, because people didn't take it in the way that he thought it would be taken, he's doing the, oh, I apologise, because he's in fear of getting cancelled. Now, I don't know if they've shut his channel down, but they've certainly dropped that video. Now, just let me stop here because I've missed the sunset, haven't I? But you could just see over my shoulder. For them of you that are just listening, you're probably going to have to go on YouTube to see that sunset. I missed it. It's not even 5 o'clock. It's nearly dark. It's what happens when you live so close to the equator. So I'm not so sure if other people are going to come here and do it. If it'll start some copycat YouTubers thinking it's fucking fun. Let's hope not. What they could do with the copycat, what a lot of Japanese people are doing here, which I found quite shocking, is when celebrities kill themselves and there's copycat suicides. So if any of these YouTubers, especially that Finnebass, if he wants to come over here and do a copycat suicide, you know, I'll watch that. I'll watch that 1,000 times before it gets taken down. Fucking dumb prick like that. There's one less dumb prick in the world drawing breath. Yeah, do that. Come over here, Finnebass. You know, slope through customs and fucking throw yourself under a train so your parents get the bill, you fucking prick. Now, I don't know what happened to his other two mates. I don't know what they did. I'm not really bothered. I just saw this pillock do it. But I'm not really interested. But there were another fella that came over, and I don't know if he is as popular as this other bloke. But he ended up on a construction site just shouting Fukushima, Fukushima, in reference to the 2011 earthquake and meltdown. He's just on a construction site shouting Fukushima, Fukushima. Now the construction workers must have thought, this fucker's having a psychotic break. Called the police, office taken to police station, and fuck knows what they thought. Who would go and stand in the middle of a construction site in Tokyo and start shouting Fukushima? Fukushima didn't even happen in Tokyo. That's like me going to Tampa, Florida, and just shouting 9/11, 9/11. Who the fuck does that? Just getting it for the clicks. Just come over here and do a decent travel video about Japan. Don't make it controversial. Don't rob from these people. They're here to help you. They want you to enjoy yourself while you're here. Don't take the piss out of them. It's fucking wrong. Go try it. Go try that fucking bullshit in Glasgow in Scotland. See how far you get on with doing that before somebody breaks your nose and knocks your teeth out. Yeah? Go and stand in the middle of... Go and stand outside Ibrox and start chanting about when all those Rangers fans got crushed. Go do that. See how long you fucking last there. There were a fella on fire outside Glasgow airport a fair few years ago. He crashed his car into the main doors of Glasgow Airport. He fell out of his car. He was on fire. He was on fire. The fella was on fire. What happened to him? A security guard ran over to him and punched his fucking lights out and kicked him. He fucking kicked him and battered him, and he was on fire. When interviewed by the TV reporter, he just looked straight at the camera and said, "Don't come here with your trouble, because we'll be into you." Fucking love that shit. I fucking love that shit. Now, if the Japanese could just do that, maybe just once in a while, catch that on YouTube, just kicking the shit out of one of these YouTubers that is trying to get the clicks. You've only got to do it once. They won't ever try it again. I urge Japanese people all across this fantastic country, if you see these pricks, just fucking punch them. And if I see you, I'm going to do the same. But I'm sure you'll edit me out. Anyway, it's getting dark. It's October. I'm cycling through Zushi Marina now with all these palm trees and all this money, all these fancy apartments that nobody's in because the moneyed people from Tokyo only come down here on weekends. So, thank you for subscribing. Again, the Patreon is starting to cook. Who'd have thought people were going to pay me for doing this? And please, get into YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, watch it on YouTube, and just keep downloading. Thank you very much once again, and I will see you next time. Adios, folks.